Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Flash episode 15 King Shark vs. Grodd video. Long live the king. There were so many memes during this episode too. The Flash has gotten to the point where there's enough material that they can now make fun of themselves using jokes pulling from season 1 material. So obviously there were a crazy number of Easter eggs. We'll do a new round of the Flash ring giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment about the episode on the video. Obviously, spoiler warning for the episode if you haven't seen it yet, but top 10 WTF and Easter eggs. Here we go. Number 10. They need someone from Earth 2 to test the metahuman cure on. They reference Earth 2 Harrison Wells, who since the end of Season 4 has become a simple Rick character if you guys are big Rick and Morty fans. If you don't remember the simple Rick joke, it was just a version of Rick Sanchez. I mean, it was sort of a lie within this Rick's mind, but he chose to lead a simple life just raising his daughter, Beth.
We captured that moment. We run it on a loop through Simple Rick's mind. And the chemical that makes his brain secrete goes into every Simple Rick Simple Wafers wafer cookie. Come home to the impossible flavor of your own completion. Come home to Simple Rick.
That's kind of what Harrison Wells from Earth 2 did at the end of Season 4. He's like, I'm gonna go be with my daughter Jessie. I don't need to be a crazy genius anymore. So he is now the simple Rick of the Flash universe. They do a little Arrow crossover with Lila because they have to go to Argus to get King Shark because you all remember that this is the Earth 2 version of King Shark. He's the only one that actually turned into a shark. Earth 1 King Shark was starting to turn into a shark after the Season 1 particle accelerator explosion, but wound up dying before that could happen. So now they have his Earth 1 wife, or former wife, working with Earth 2 King Shark because it's basically the same person genetically. So they did have a bit of a romance subplot, but if you're okay with Jaime and Cersei being twins on Game of Thrones in their relationship, then it's probably okay for her to have a relationship with the doppelganger. Not quite as weird as some of the stuff that's going on in Game of Thrones right now. Number 9, Joe West is back. I've gotten so many questions about this through the last couple of episodes. When is he coming back? They announced it a little while ago, but because they're so far ahead in the production schedule, episode 15 was the first one that he filmed when he came back. If you don't know the real reason why he had to leave the show for a little while, it was because he hurt his back last summer. The actor in real life did something, whatever it was, he hurt his back, so that is why he was sitting down for almost every single scene he was in the first half of the season. And eventually they just became a really big thing, so they said, okay, just go away, take a sabbatical, heal your back, then when you're all better, come back and you'll just resume doing episodes like you normally would. So now you have Joe West walking around just doing normal things like he would in episodes, instead of having to find creative ways for him to sit down in all of his scenes. The way the writers on the show explain it within the context of the episode is that he actually just took a break to go heal his body and mind and visit Wally, who's been in Tibet this whole time. As you would expect, first episode back, they use him for the Iris storyline to help her get over her trauma from the time loop episode. The punching bag scene actually reminded me, if you remember in Season 2, I think it was, of Arrow, there was a shot of Felicity down in the Arrow cave punching the punching bag, just like you would see Sarah or Oliver that season, and it was the most adorable thing ever. Like, she is the least physically threatening person that you could possibly have on any of the DC TV shows. If you were to have them fight kaiju style, Iris would probably take her pretty quickly. Number 8 though, the way they explain Grodd's psychic crown from the comics, I mean, it's a very big comic book thing, but the way they explain it on the show is that Dr. Lambden was using it to communicate with King Shark so that he could help treat him because his mind was slowly regressing to that of a primal shark. In the comics, his mind is a little more balanced. Like, you see him sitting there reading a book while he's in prison, but he has some of the primal urges that a shark would have and the body of a shark. Nautilus Labs, obviously a reference to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and what I'm hoping is because they use her telepathic crown to turn into Grodd's psychic crown from the comics, I'm hoping that they'll also turn Cicada's dagger, another item from the show being used for one thing right now, into another big comic book Easter egg, Reverse Flash's lightning wand from the Silver Age comics, which was again an Easter egg during the Jeff Johns era, but is mostly a Silver Age thing. As you would expect, there were a bunch of Jaws references. They have a couple music cues when he's approaching the dock for the first time. Then 6, when they try to reel him back in, he goes full Jaws against Cisco. Barry preemptively doses him with the cure. They turn that into a bit of a drama subplot. But I thought the special effects were pretty decent in terms of Flash episodes. So first big special effect was obviously him walking around in broad daylight. They've tweaked his model a little bit. They talked about that before the episode, just making Grodd and King Shark look a little bit better than the last time you saw them on screen. But also it's a little bit harder to do the transformation, so that's probably why they dunked him in the water, so they could do that underwater, save a little bit of money, and he comes back out, you get the surprise, like he's still kind of changing back into a human as he flops onto the dock. They have this whole redemption subplot where he wants to be held accountable for his actions. They're turning him into more of an anti-hero, which is important for the end of the episode too, because they leave Grodd in a really interesting place for the next time he eventually quote-unquote escapes. 5, Sisko drops a really funny Oliver Queen reference, don't interrupt a man when he's trying to brood by himself in the dark. He drops another Jaws reference, Jaws 4, The Revenge, and then 4, obviously when Barry comes in to apologize, Grodd MCs both of them, and you get this really cool turn mid-conversation. I like the way that they pull that off, because it's just right after Caitlin and Sisko are like, something was messing with his mind, and just as Barry walks in, boom, Grodd has him. Nora had a couple weird lines of dialogue where she's like, wait a minute, the Flash Museum has a bunch of stuff wrong. Speed Force doesn't make you immune to Grodd's mind control. Barry's like, hell no, he can totally mind control us. You better watch the hell out. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be a big thing in future episodes. Maybe they'll wind up using it for some big twist during the Nora Reverse Flash storyline, but it just seemed odd to me that there would be so much incorrect information in the Flash Museum. 3, Barry and Nora versus Grodd. They use a couple classic moves, combos together, but moves that Barry used against Grodd in previous seasons. They use the Season 1 Supersonic Punch move and the one where he ran around him really fast. King Shark offers to become King Shark again in shark form, but this time because of the way they're vibing him back, it's just permanent. So obviously, I think it's important that he stays King Shark on the show. I was really upset when I thought that they might turn him human permanently. There was also a really cool Season 2 reference for King Shark when he jumps into battle and says, King Shark wants you gone, which is just a reference to the Season 2 line, Zoom wants you dead, which Nora also quoted earlier this season too, and then later said that the actual battle was way cooler than the one that she saw in the Flash Museum. 2 was actually that quick Iris West, Joe West meme text at the end of the episode. If you didn't catch it, it was a huge Simpsons reference. The gif that Iris uses is actually from The Simpsons. It's the food chain fake infomercial that Troy McClure did where they're trying to explain the food chain. It's the shark eating the gorilla. But then Joe West memes himself by saying, but Grodd hate banana, which is a reference to Season 1 when Grodd kidnapped him in the tunnels and he offered him a banana, and Grodd got really pissed off with him saying, Grodd hate banana. But obviously number 1 was the King Shark versus Grodd fight. Pretty decent special effects from what you'd expect from a Flash episode. They typically have a pretty decent budget for stuff like this, but you're never really sure. I think that they had this episode in mind for a long time, so they kind of knew what they were doing before they started the episode, because a lot of this fight between the two of them, you don't actually need to film with actors on a set, because pretty much all this is special effects, so they can start as early as they want when they knew that they were going to do the episode. They said that they tried to do an episode like this for a long time, but by the time they would get later in the episodes, they just wouldn't have the money for it. So this year, they just planned a little bit better. But the really important teaser for potential future Grodd versus King Shark stuff is that obviously King Shark is now permanently a shark. He's still being held in Argus, but he's more of an anti-hero, so they're treating him a little bit nicer. He explains that because of his shark brain, Grodd's mind control abilities don't work on him, so he's a really effective tool against Grodd. And what happened with Grodd is they put him in a medically induced coma, but the psychic crown that he was wearing amplified his ability and is continuing to grow. So his telepathic abilities will be way stronger when he eventually quote-unquote escapes again, which he probably will in a future season. Hopefully they'll find some room for him in Crisis on Infinite Earths because there's going to be so much stuff going on during those episodes. Hopefully that explains where they left things. So obviously they're just teasing a rematch down the road, because if Grodd is an even more powerful telepath, then you need someone who's equally powerful that can block his abilities, and King Shark is the only person that we know that can do that right now. Let me know in the comments, what did you guys think about the King Shark versus Grodd fight, or any other big questions that you had about the mechanics of everything, or anything else that was going on during the episode. I've got a new Game of Thrones Season 8 video that I'll post later tonight. Look out for that, and I'll post the Flash trailer tomorrow morning. That's when I'll name the giveaway winner from this video. So as long as you have video alerts enabled for my channel, you should see the videos, no worries. Click here to rewatch the Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer a billion more times, and click here for that Godspeed Flash Season 5 teaser. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.